Oh, hello. We are here. We made it live. Hopefully, this is the first one I've ever had on this channel, and with my special guest, which is Luke White. Hello, hello.
Hello, Nush, my sister from another mister.
I know. I mean, we should have done this a long time ago, but I think this is the perfect time. So, oh my God, where should we begin? This film. There's a film about Eurovision. I never thought this would happen.
Do you know what? I think it's come around at such the right time. Like, there was no Eurovision this year. It was meant to coincide with the competition. But if it did, I feel like it would show off the really good bits that they got and the really bad bits that they got.
Oh, yeah, completely. I 100% agree. Like, when it was meant to come out, which was around Eurovision time, and then it got cancelled, I think it gave us all a period to kind of reflect on everything about Eurovision. And then the movie came out, and I think we were all like, I don't know, just so excited for this. And it was perfect timing. I completely agree. I think we needed something positive in our lives. Like, we really did. I felt like, I mean, I'm sure most of you will agree, like, we've just had bad news after bad news after bad news. And this was possibly going to be bad news if it wasn't going to work. But I am pleasantly surprised. Anyway, let's just start off with our initial thoughts, because you weren't really a fan of the trailer, were you?
When Volcano Man came out, I was like, what is this? Like, I thought it was a joke. I thought this is everything that I was scared about. I thought it was going to be like a Mickey take, and they were going to be like, oh, look how weird all these Eurovision fans are. And I was like, no, this is everything I didn't want it to be.
Yeah.
And when the trailer came out, the official trailer, because I thought Volcano Man was the trailer, and I was like, this is going to be awful. Then when the official trailer came out, I was like, yes, this looks all right. But I judged Volcano Man so much that I didn't want to put all of my eggs in this basket for the trailer, thinking, oh, this is going to be amazing.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I watched the trailer, I loved the teaser, and I loved it. So I was a little bit different in that sense. But I think I was so upset that Eurovision was cancelled at the time that I was just like, you know what, I'll take anything. I'll do anything. I don't care what it is. And like, it looked beautiful from that even teaser in terms of what, how they did that music video, that I was like, I think this might be really good. Then the trailer came out, and I then was getting a bit more excited, because I was like, this actually looks like a decent film. And then I watched it, and I was very pleasantly surprised. I went in with my doubts about Will Ferrell as well, because I'm not a huge Will Ferrell fan personally. I'm just not, but I knew he's a big enough actor, and with the EBU, I just was thinking, this can't go horrible. You can't have, I mean, I'm sure most people, it's 50-50 with this. In fact, I did a poll on my Instagram just to see what everyone thought, because I was interested to see. And it was, I think, 40%. 60 people said they liked it, 40 said no. But I just don't think things aren't going to be perfect. And
the problem is, they have to appeal to everybody. They have to appeal to people that have never heard of Eurovision before. I've had Americans comment on my video saying, wow, I've never heard of it before, but now I like it. And yet again, you've got the other extreme of people that are obsessed with it. And then they're like, this is wrong, I liked this is wrong. You can't please everybody, can you?
No, you really can't. You cannot. And anyway, I think we should go just through the positives and negatives as well, because like, there was a few things I think that they probably shouldn't have put in there. But also, I think for us Eurovision fans, I think it made sense, this film. But I think if you watched it from an American standpoint, you might not understand. And I've had time to rewatch the film. I've also looked through a lot of interviews and reactions of the Americans, because at the end of the day, we're Eurovision fans. We're always going to be Eurovision fans. But what I think this film was important for all of us is to not show it in a joke way, but also to show what the contest is and to show how amazing it is, because that was the important thing. And I think it did that. But at the same time, Americans, it seems like half of them didn't get the jokes. And if you don't get the jokes, then what's the point? Because it's a comedy. So I don't know.
There's so many Easter eggs in there as well, wasn't there?
Yeah.
That you just go, oh, that's funny because of this, or that's funny because of this. And other people, like you say, other people wouldn't get it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say a few things that I didn't really like about it, but I mean, I think it's Will Ferrell. It was gonna be a bit cheesy, but there was times like the whole blowing up thing. Also, sorry, before we go any further, there is gonna be spoilers in this, so if you haven't watched the film, which go watch it, and then come back to this video because we are going to talk about it. Anyway,
or we can just act it all out for you right here.
Yeah,
right now.
yeah. Ha, 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 woke up at night.
Hang on, who am I? Look, am I Rachel McAdams?
I'm doing both of you. You're the lava coming out the ground. I'm only joking, of course. But anyway, yeah. So, I mean, the blowing up thing, I don't know if that needed to be in there. Like, I don't know how you felt about that, but the whole, you know,
I think going for that kind of comedy, slapstick is very much, it's, you either love it or you hate it. And I think there's a fine line sometimes. I did wonder, when they had so many amazing acts in this like national selection, I thought, well, how the heck do they get through? I thought it was going to be an executive was going to rig it, so they got through, so they didn't win on purpose, so they didn't have to host it for the next year.
Yeah, no, I think, to be honest, like, how else would they get in? Because, you know, Tatiana, did you like Demi Lovato's song as well? Because I wasn't too much of a fan of that.
Well, I haven't heard the whole thing because I want to do a separate reaction. But I like when the clip played of her Mirror, I was thinking it sounds a bit like a typical Demi Lovato song, but it also sounds like an American pop star song. It doesn't sound like a Eurovision song. It is a little bit generic, but I haven't heard the whole thing, so I don't want to cast too much dispersion.
Yeah. Well, she wrote the song, I think. Well, it's her song, so it is her style, and I completely agree. I think it was very American, but like, I mean, I wasn't going in thinking the music was going to be amazing, so I think my standards were quite low. So even when I saw her, I thought it fit because she looked amazing, and to have her in this film is a massive thing for us Eurovision fans to expose, you know, the contest. So I think in that sense it was good, but they could have done a little bit more research of like European sounding music. And I think that was another thing that I had an issue with a tiny bit, was the music in some places. There was that hip hop entry, I think from France, if I'm right. There was a part that were like rapping on stage, and that's something that we've never had rap or hip hop properly like that in this context.
Yes. Will's just said on here, by the way, he said that Demi Lovato's Ghost was irrelevant, and I was like, it was really. I mean, she popped up to kind of give a bit of a ooh, but I think they were just using her as much as they could really for a But the hip hop came from Sweden, which I thought was weird because Sweden usually bring the bangers.
That was it, yeah.
Like the big Euro pop songs, but also there was 7 people on stage, and I didn't twig at first. I was just like, oh yes,
I didn't clock. Oh my god!
And I was like, that's
bad. Eurovision bad.
I know. Someone commented, and I was like, how did I not pick up on this? Eurovision illegal right there.
Yeah. So if anyone doesn't know, there's only 6 people allowed on stage at Eurovision. That is a rule. So that wasn't too accurate, I guess. But how did the EBU not think? I don't know. Maybe there must have been a reason why they did that. They must have been. But accuracy level, I guess, that wasn't great for that. But I mean, it's a film at the end of the day. Like, we need to remember that things aren't always going to be accurate in films. But it's funny that, you know, we're talking about the Demi Lovato bit with the ghost. I think there was a lot that didn't need to be in this film, and that's that they could have cut the movie down to maybe 1 hour 45 minutes. I think maybe 1 hour 30. I don't think it needed to be that long. There was a lot that was a bit like, okay, now come on, let's move on. And I think they could have even used that time, if they were going to make it that length, to put it in other areas. Like, for instance, you know, the song along thing that they had with all of the amazing, which we'll go into that further in a bit, but I think that they could have expanded way more on the characters of who these people are for American or non-Eurovision fans, because there's no way you would know who they were, and you were like, who's this random person walking down the stairs being like, dance with me, like Loreen, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's cool for us, but that's not cool for anyone that has no idea who that is. And oh my god, it's so fun but funny at the same time. But yeah, I mean that kind of thing, I was a bit like, let's talk a bit more about them, and maybe we could have used them more instead of just having the actors as the main characters. It would have been cool to have that. But yeah,
The
I
more we
mean,
talk about it and the party scene and things like that, it does make me think, was the film actually aimed at Eurovision fans and a Eurovision following with just a little bit of an explanation for Americans? Because, like you say, that scene, there was so much time on these artists, and which was good for me. When I say time, I mean like so much camera time and cinematography. Like there was a proper close up of Jamala, and they were
yeah.
giving their best sass to the
Nessa,
camera.
did you see the fireworks going on behind her with the people? Watch it again, because I saw these things again when I saw it. There's people flipping behind her and the fireworks going on. It's like a production. That
I blocked it all out. When I saw someone, I was just like glued to their face, and I had no idea what was going on around them.
Yeah, I know. I did. That's what I'm saying. So I think because we are massive fans, I was a bit in shock at the first time watching it. I think you need to rewatch it if you are such a fan, to kind of get these smaller details that maybe other people would have picked up on. But 100% agree in that. Was there anything that really, really bugged you about the film either?
Alexander.
Really?
I hated him. I know we love. There's always a character that you love to hate. Do you know what I mean? Like an evil character or whatever. I was like, please go away. Please just stop talking. But I hated their song. Why was it so Spanish?
Well, the Russian song, the Lion of Love. What's it called? What's it called again?
Lion of Love.
Lion of Love.
Yes.
I get where you're coming from there, but at the same time, I think it sounded just like a Eurovision song that could do really well.
It sounded well Eurovision.
Yeah.
It really did not sound like a Russia Eurovision song.
No.
Like, don't get me wrong. I know Little Big song in Spanish, Uno dos cuatro, but there was no Spanish.
Weird then now that you bring that up, because that's so true though, that this year, but they wouldn't have known that by making that, because we only found out Little Big song till like a day before their 2 days late for the deadline. They were so late. So that is funny though. Yeah, I agree. I don't think it sounded like a Russian song from Eurovision.
But it did sound like something more Hispanic, so maybe around Spain, maybe a Cyprusy, Greece sort of. I know Greece isn't Hispanic, but
it could have been Greece, I think. And actually, funny, let's talk about Greece's song, because I don't think that would be an entry that Greece would ever. The song, maybe
that was the weirdest thing ever.
It was very weird, but I guess you want to shock the audience as well. Like, people, when they watch Eurovision, you want to get that shock factor. You know, when you first see Verka and you've never seen Verka before, Verka Serduchka, look him up if you haven't watched him. I mean, like, it's
that face said it all.
I know. He's just mad, but I'm kind of gutted I didn't see him. At the same time, there's so many people in this film that I'm like, who else could they have gotten?
They should have had Mans. Something reminded me today. Why was Mans not there?
Mans wasn't in it. Eleni wasn't in it for her. Like, I think that was a big mistake, because she is so big now in Eurovision. Like, she's huge. It would have been really cool to have her, and even maybe have some of them perform as an act. It would have been cool. I would have done that.
Medley, if that was a mashup of Eurovision songs.
Yeah, that would have been sick. Because that's the kind of thing that happens at Eurovision parties. Like, that is the kind of thing. But, I mean, would they really know?
When they did the interval in Tel Aviv, and you had, like, the four singers singing each other's songs, I lived for that. I love seeing artists sing other artists' songs. So imagine Loreen coming down the stairs in, I don't know, Rise Like a Phoenix, that goes into them, who was outside. Alina, for example, singing Fuego in an operatic style. I don't know. That would have been epic. Yeah,
no, it would have been awesome. I wish they did something like that. But at the time, I think when I was watching it, I was so on edge, because I was like, what's going to happen? And like, you know, I don't think I thought about it properly like that. But I completely agree with you on that sense. Like, there was definitely flaws in this film. It wasn't perfect at all. Like, there was things that bothered me. But like, I mean, let's see what else. I think the staging thing, everyone grilled me about this by saying it, because I didn't know it was in Tel Aviv, to be fair, when they filmed it, the crowd. But I think the staging, yeah. So apparently they filmed some of the stage shots in Tel Aviv last year, but some of it in London, like, or UK in shots. I think maybe I don't remember where it was actually filmed, but I just thought it looked so small on camera. Like they made it look small. They didn't make it look as big as it actually is. And even if it was filmed there, they could have done some kind of angle to, manipulate that. I just don't think it gave the impression that this is as big of a thing as it is, even though I know they gave the history at the beginning a little bit, but I don't know. I think they could have done a bit better in that sense. But other than that, I think, honestly, I really enjoyed it. But so tell me about the things that actually stood out to you in this film and what, excited you and was like, yeah, this is a Eurovision film.
Well, I wouldn't say excited. Well, I studied media at A level, and there were little bits in the film, and I was like, "Oh my god, that's good! They're doing this or that." So I was geeking from all sorts of angles, but I was geeking from a perspective of the way they used Lars in the film was a great method, because they used him as this character that was explaining to Sigrid, this is what happens, because she was clueless. But what the filmmakers are doing is they're using him to explain to the audience what happens at Eurovision. So he is there for a guide for the Americans. He's kind of like us talking to someone that would never watch Eurovision, explaining to them how it works. And what I really loved is that they did go into slight detail. It wasn't perfect, but like when they did the music revamp and they're in the studio, and Sigrid was singing her song, and then she goes, "Oh, I don't like it. I don't like this beat." And then Will Ferrell was like, "It's fresh, it's funky." Like they tried to make it comedic. But that just shows you when someone revamps a song and all the fans are like, "What are you doing? This is awful. Why did you revamp it?"
No, I know.
The tech rehearsals and how it went wrong. And I'm like, it's just a nod to everything, that costume malfunctions and little Easter eggs that I loved.
Yeah, I did like. It's funny because you didn't like Alexander, but I actually thought his character was one of the strongest in terms of his acting. His acting was very, very good. And Dan Stevens is an amazing actor anyway. And the fact that they got him and the cast in general, they are quite good actors, the ones that they had. So like, I think that was good and needed, because a lot of people thought this was going to be a joke of a film, and I think that's also why they may have directed this film in the eyes of a Eurovision fan, because they knew there were so many of us out there that if they just made this an American film, it would literally not do well, because it wouldn't. It wouldn't at all. And I think Dan Stevens' character, it was quite funny because it did remind me a lot of past, like a little bit of Sergey in there, a tiny bit, just a little bit hint in there. There was definitely similarity. I can see where they got their inspiration from. But I think personally, the music was one of the funnest things in this film.
Definitely. I mean, Volcano Man, no. But
you don't like that one.
Hate it. But like you said about the characters, it shows you that if you hate someone, that they're doing their job really well. So Dan Stevens did such a good job of playing the antagonist of the film that I actually really didn't like him. But in real life, it's cool. You can see past the actor. It's like Will Ferrell and Rachel McAdams. I saw past them as people, and I really stuck with their characters, because like you said, I'm not a massive Will Ferrell fan anyway. So it just shows you how you can emotionally connect. And when they sing the songs as well. And can I just say, while I'm talking about it, Molly, the way that they've used her voice to get out there to a whole new audience, I'd never heard of her before. So when all of my subs were saying to me, "Did you know that's Molly from Sweden?" I was like, "Whoa, okay, wicked."
Yeah.
Like, brilliant, because I thought I would have said it was Rachel McAdams the whole way through if no one told me.
Yeah, I mean, there was one point, I think it was only one point I took out completely, actually, that I thought, okay, sounds a tiny bit like they've turned, when she's singing for the first time on stage and all the dancers come onto her and are like annoying her, and she's like, oh, and then she starts singing. All of a sudden her voice comes on, and I think they could have maybe faded that in a little bit, but that was I think the only time I was like that. Yeah, no, I mean, but the thing is, I never thought that wasn't her voice. I just thought that sounds like she's, lip syncing her own voice. I never thought that it was. Sorry, what did you say?
It was a good match for
voice. Oh, massively. Yeah, so apparently she had like some kind of voice match with Molly. Like they said that her voice would match with her actual voice, so that's why they picked Molly, because they thought that it would work really well with it. And I think it did. And I'm really glad that they showed a Swedish, she is Swedish, isn't it? Yeah, she's a Swedish singer. And it's good to expose her, because now this is probably like she's made it, you know?
Imagine if the matching was so wrong and she started singing and then Lordi came out like, "Bah!"
Yeah, I know. Also, that Lordi like parody, that was funny.
Oh, the Belarusian act.
I quite enjoyed it.
You know what? It was like Lordi with a facelift.
Yeah.
Like, it was quite smooth. It was like, this could be a kids' Halloween thing rather than like a Slipknot band.
I know, no, they were great. Like I was, there was parts where I was like, I feel like I'm actually watching Eurovision. Definitely, like I had that feeling inside of me. But I also learned a lot about this film of Iceland that I didn't know about, the elves.
What was that all about?
It's a real thing, apparently.
In your review, and I was like, it's because I didn't really get it. I didn't know part of the movie like trying to be like how funny it is, or it was an actual thing, and I didn't want to throw judgment on it.
No, it's a real thing. It's an actual real thing. So it's awesome. I felt like I was in a fantasy movie half of it, because I was like, wow, is this Iceland? But I liked that because, you know, I like all that mystic and magic and stuff. So it was a funny little twist to it. And at the end, when he got the knife in the back and he was like, I'll leave your knife here to do other murders.
But here's my media head coming out now. That is that's a clever technique, because literally the person who got stabbed in the back was stabbing Will Ferrell in the back.
Oh my God. See,
so it's like all symbolism and semiotics and all that sort of stuff.
Oh my God.
I was there like, wow, they're really foreshadowing this. And I'm like, oh my God,
I didn't even think
out of my head.
Luke, I didn't even think of that. That's really clever. And I make films as well. I should know that. But like, I know. No, literally. I liked. I'm glad that they filmed everything in Iceland at the beginning, and nothing was CGI'd in that sense. I know that for a fact. Like they said in interviews, I've had time to research afterwards properly, and they were like, it was in Iceland. They spent a good time there with Pierce Brosnan. What did you think of Pierce Brosnan?
Does the man ever age? Like at the beginning, when they give him the brown hair and that, and I was like, hang on, that is him, isn't it? Is his face CGI? Like, how did they make him look so young? Like, he
looks amazing. He looks younger than Will Ferrell does. If you see Will Ferrell like today, like without the makeup on.
Crazy, absolutely crazy.
Did you also clock the whole age thing? Because everyone was like, oh, they're going to be really old if they were watching ABBA in the 70s. And I think that was meant to be a thing. Like, they were meant to be middle-aged, because they said it in the film a couple times. And a lot of people complained that they were like looking a lot younger than they were meant to. But I actually think it didn't bother me that much.
No, it didn't bother me either. Do you know what did confuse me? Was that when I proper slated Volcano Man in my reaction, I said, the commenter said, well, you do know this film is set in the 70s, and I'm thinking, I was like, oh, okay, maybe this is wrong then, and maybe I should be looking at this as if it was from the 70s.
Yeah, I thought that.
It was modern day.
Mm-hmm.
And also to the guys in the comments as well, why was Volcano Man even there? I know I've got this thing about Volcano Man, but it was literally so random. I'm glad it was random and it wasn't their actual song. But when they were in their house and all of a sudden it flashed to the future and they're singing Volcano Man in a garage, and then it was never touched on ever again.
I think with that one, I think they were trying to show that they were imagining themselves way bigger than they were and better than they were, because I think that's kind of what it was. I don't think it was ever meant to be an actual performance. I think it was just to show the audience that these guys are delusional. They're thinking that they can be to this level when they're not. And to be fair, I do think that they made this video quite like, and it's over the top, but it is very Eurovision in the sense of the costume, the music, and yeah, and it's just complete. It's just ridiculous. That is what it is.
Dreamy just said it was for promotion, which is I can see it. It does appeal to a lot of people. And Will is at it again. volcanic protector
Oh
man.
my God, going for it. No, but speaking of that stuff as well, with the main song, you know, with the finale song, the Husavik song, I was a bit annoyed that it was going to be a ballad. I knew it was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen. And I was just like, oh God. But then it actually happened. And I was like, you know what? It still sounds like a Eurovision ballad. And at least it was in that sense for me anyway. I don't know if you guys agree with me, but I think it.
Hang on, I have to do it.
What your head? What are you doing? Oh my God.
This is Nush. A ballad, really?
I despise. I can't stand them. What can I say? No, some of them are.
I don't like ballads.
It's pretty good, Luke. You should do another, video imitating me. You're actually quite good at it.
With people that I talk to.
Oh yeah, 100%. Anyway, okay. So let's not get too distracted from our, but
say Double Trouble as well. What a amazing song! I loved that.
I thought that was gonna win. I was like, if that was in Eurovision, who agrees with me? I think that would have probably won.
Yes,
if you didn't go flying in the hamster wheel down. And you know what? Let's be honest. I think we've all thought at those times where Eurovision has shown hamster wheels, which if anyone doesn't know, it's happened before. And a lot of people criticized this. Like, why would they have such a stupid prop on stage? And I was just like, no, it happens. This does happen. It's happened twice, 3 times now or something. It has happened. And
my instant reaction was love, love, peace, peace, and a man in a hamster wheel.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so iconic, and I think they did really well with that. In fact, something bad was going to happen. I think we all knew, and if it didn't, this would be a boring film. Personally, I think if they just won at the end as well. I mean, there was the point system thing annoyed me, and I was getting a bit annoyed there because I was like, oh well, the point system's the most important part, one of the most important parts of Eurovision, and they didn't show it in the sense that I think they could have. But yeah. I think the reason why they didn't put that there is because they needed that last scene, didn't they, with Will Ferrell and Rachel McAdams kiss thing. But yeah, no, I don't know.
Well, that's why they shoved it all in the semi-final, because they wanted to give an audience an idea with how the voting worked and the table and the leaderboard, but because I didn't realise that they weren't going to show the final. We all assumed, looking at the film, obviously Iceland are going to win, etc., etc., and they didn't. But that's what, like you say, it's what makes the film the film. What I loved about the voting, actually, and things like that, is that, Will Ferrell went back to Iceland, off he went. Also, how easily can you get a plane nowadays? I just hopped on the next plane out.
Oh, I know. That part was a bit ridiculous.
2 hours before you depart, or do you not have to check in?
He didn't go on his phone. He didn't go on his phone.
Security check. Hello?
Yeah, that annoyed me. That was unnecessary. I don't think he needs to go all the way home to do that. But I think it was Hollywood. It's a Hollywood type film, and at the end of the day, it was going to have that in there. And if you're going to think completely, none of this is going to be in there, then I don't think the film is going to do that well, because it is going to go out to Americans and it has to appeal to them. I will say that one of my favorite parts was the fact that they took the piss out of us hating Americans.
Yes, because that spoke for
it's us. True, though. I mean, I love Americans. My boyfriend's American, but
They were venting through us, I think. When he goes, you Americans, you come over here and you beep on everything. And I'm thinking, literally, if you ask a Eurovision fan, would you like America to participate in the competition? They'd be like, no.
Yeah, I know. And it's good that they put them they were the only people that didn't go to the contest, at the contest. So they were the only people that didn't know. So there was a lot of things like that I think for Europeans, it's great. And also Americans, I think even Johnny, my boyfriend, was laughing at that point because he knows, he's been here, he knows that that's what it's like. And it's just true. And it's nice for Americans to kind of get a bit of the taste of, what that world's like, because I don't think not even half, no one knows what it is and no one knows it exists. No one does.
About this film as well is that it's inclusive. So everybody's involved, and by that I mean everybody is taken fun out of. Like literally, when they're going through the party and he's going, "Oh look, that's Julia J from England," but everybody hates the UK, so 0 points. Like it's every cliche, every funny moment. And then he talked about Germany. I didn't catch the comment about Lisa from Germany, but it was just so typical and funny. And the lady from Greece, I can't remember her name.
The actress.
Sorry?
The actress.
The character, I can't remember what she was called.
Yeah.
But she said, when she was talking to Will Ferrell, she said, win, lose, it doesn't really matter. And I'm thinking, oh, doesn't that just show you that maybe some of the artists do think that? Maybe they just go for the fun of it. Or if they know they're not going to win, D-Mol, maybe they just go for the fun of the competition.
Oh my God. We're Germany, sister. Oh, there's some questionable character. You know, also that was good. They showed how, you know, Iceland kind of just got in there. There are times where we think that why have they picked that person? You know, is it just like, did they just pick them out of a box? And
like off the street, they'll do.
I think it does happen in most countries. I'll be honest. Like,
God, what? Yeah. They can have us. We're
I know.
We fill out a form and everything.
I know. It needs to happen.
An internet form.
No, literally. Oh my God.
Luke and Noosh.
Lush. Lush would like the new Scooch for the UK.
And it kind of has an Armenian twist to it.
That'll be like Lucian or something at the end. But honestly, we could do a better job than the UK. But also, they won. The UK must have won for them to be in Glasgow.
Well, this is something I thought of, and Will's just said it as well. Well, how can the UK won the year before? Girl. Well, it could have been that, or somebody pointed out it could have been a country that couldn't host themselves, so selected the UK like in years gone. And I was like, these subs, they're too smart for us. I
didn't think
in there. We've got an idea, and they're like, no.
Yeah, I think that's probably why they didn't mention too much about. I mean, they mentioned it once about everyone hating the UK, but they probably couldn't go on about that because think about it, like they're in the UK and they would have had to win, or like you said, it could have been a country like Australia that won, which hasn't happened yet, but it might.
Can we just say Julia J sounds a lot like Jessie J?
Yeah, it does.
That's what they got their inspiration from. They're inspired.
100%.
How good would it have been? I've just thought of another cameo they could have done when they were going through the party and they were going, "Oh look, that's Germany." Why didn't they have an act from Germany as the cameo? So they could have. Up there. They go, "Oh look, there's Germany," or they could have gone past the UK and it could be Michael Rice. They could have gone, "Oh, there's the UK." Michael Rice, he was very good. But
they could have done that. They should have done that because. That I guess will it relate to anyone else? I don't know. It would for us, but that's the one thing I think they could have tried to make it a bit more appealing to the American audience in that sense.
Josh DeBovie there because we literally hang on. Who did we get? Gemini. They could have had Gemini there for us.
Yeah.
Everyone hates the UK. 0 points.
Yeah, they could have. I think they could have done that. There's a lot that I think they put a lot of new faces instead of super old ones. Like they could have put more. I think.
Imagine the YouTube community going past. I wouldn't mind being Ukrainian. Oh, there's Ukraine. And like, hi.
Well, they got William in from the Wee Wee blogs in, which was quite nice.
That's so good.
It was really nice.
They have done their research in that respect as well, haven't they? Like they've looked and seen what people like and the popular things like Wee Wee blogs.
It was really nice to, and Graham Norton. We didn't even talk about that.
He's so sassy the whole way through.
But he is like that. He's worse. In fact, like I would say, he's worse sometimes. I've rewatched some years, and I'm like, wow, he's really going at these people.
If you said that nowadays, you'd be done, mate.
Oh my God. Literally, but it was nice to see him as like almost voiceover at times in the film because it was familiar. Like if you close your eyes, you would think that you were at like there, and it was just really nice to see familiar faces. And I think if they didn't have this in the film, it would not be even as good as it was, to be honest. And I'm just curious to see what everyone else thought, to be honest, because obviously there's a part of us that is a bit biased towards Eurovision. And
even in the Euro fandom, I feel like there's two ways of looking at it. People are either like we are really excited because Eurovision was cancelled, or really bitter because they're like, well, is this the next best thing since Eurovision? Do you know what I mean? There's two ways of looking at it. What is everyone in the comments saying?
Yeah, I know. What did you guys think was good or bad? Let us know, honestly, but we'll look in them in a second.
ESC Dream said, move over, Scooch. It's loose.
Oh my God, what would we do, Luke, if we actually went? Because I can't sing. So you have to sing. I can DJ.
We'll just spit a track. Is that what the kids say?
Yeah.
Kids, is that what you say?
Spit a track. Spit a track.
I don't know.
We are kids.
How much did I just look like Netta then, by the way? You know when she came out in her cameo out of the car and she was doing her little face?
I know.
That was not it whatsoever.
What was that? Did you just break down there for a second?
Sorry, you know when she comes. That's what she does. Literally.
She does.
She impression is Netta.
I know. She does. She does. She makes some faces, but I think that's her character, isn't it? I wasn't expecting her to be there, to be fair, because at that point I was like, oh, everyone's here now. You know, Loreen came out. I think I got a bit too excited when she came out. She looked amazing.
I didn't recognise her.
No.
She came down the stairs. I was like,
normally her hair's like covering her face like this. So like I don't. Like,
and I looked at her and I thought, I know you from somewhere. And then all of a sudden, when she spoke to Jessie from France, I was like, it's Loreen. How did I not recognise Queen Loreen?
Yeah, I know. Queen Loreen is needed to be in that because she's never been in a film. Actually, somebody said they were annoyed about Verka not being in it, but he actually was in a film called Heat or something. Can't remember, but he's in a film. She's in a film. Verka Serduchka's in a film. It's with I think Sandra Bullock. I can't remember. Someone tell me in the comments. I can't remember.
When you say Verka's in a film, the first kind of genre I think of isn't mainstream.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Sounds like a dodgy film when you think of that.
Oh no, it does sound very dodgy. It's not. I swear.
What films have you been watching, Nush?
Honestly, it was PG-13. Relax. No, it wasn't. But I was a bit annoyed. I didn't see any Armenian stuff in there, but I mean, that one. And it wasn't even on the scoreboard. But I guess the last few years we've been doing so badly. Like I guess we're not really being.
But speaking of the scoreboard, did you notice how when they announced the points for Latvia, it literally went over the top of France? It didn't knock France down, it covered it up. And I was like, okay then. And then Italy was there as well. And we're like, well, they're in the big five. They would never be in a semi-final.
Yeah, I think ultimately the EBU are associated with it, but I think a lot of the small things that we would get bothered at, like you could tell where the influence was and wasn't, I think. Although Will Ferrell's wife is Swedish, so I think like he spends every summer in Sweden, so he knows what the culture is in that sense. I think that's why I was a little bit less skeptical at times because I remembered that. But it's nice to have that. You need to have a connection in that sense because you can't make something like this about culture and not know anything about it. It's a really tricky thing to do. And not fuck up, basically. It's hard.
And he's a big fan as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
Apparently, allegedly, he's a big fan. So hopefully you would. I bet he was in his element when he was at that party. Yeah. I was so jealous. I was like, all these people here that don't like Eurovision, that are extras or supporting artists.
I know.
And I'm like, we could have all been there for free.
I know. We should have just taken a trip to Scotland, Luke. We could have like.
I know it's only up the road somewhere.
Well, no, literally. But I think it really did expose the contest the way it should have. In fact, I think a lot of new fans will come out of this. Loads of Americans, Canadians for sure. I think it will because of, who's in the film. People will start questioning what this is and look into it.
is this going to give them false hope? Are they going to like look at this and think, wow, is this what it's like? And then watch it and be like, what? Like,
I don't know. I think it's like a Marmite situation here, Luke, with Eurovision, and it will be with this film as well. It's love or hate. Eurovision is that. It's love it or hate it. It's wacky, it's crazy, it's mental. It is like that on stage, not to the extent of him flying off, but I mean, it's pretty nuts. Like even this year, like people say, oh, it's getting more tame. No, have you seen the contest this year? Like it was mental. It didn't happen, but it was going to be nuts, especially when Little Big at the end, we were like, this is it. Everything's nuts this year, you know? And it was,
well, that's the thing. The first half of the song reveals this year did start off quite tame.
Oh, yeah. There was a lot of ballads at the beginning.
Second half, it was almost as if they were waiting for the first half to be revealed and they were going, you know what? We're going to outdo all of you.
No, yeah, I completely agree with that. It was mental. So I don't think it's a false hope for anyone. I think that if anything, yeah, it's shown off what an amazing contest it is. And if you don't like that kind of thing, don't watch it and it's not your thing. But it has shown a lot of people the good side, I think. And it isn't a complete mockery in my eyes. I watched it and I nearly cried at the end because I was like, this is something that I've put a lot of time, my effort and my passion into this contest. And in a way, I had a lot of connection to Will Ferrell's character.
It's mad,
in a nut sense. Not in that. I'm not that weird.
Tom Mayers just said on here that Alina told him by Instagram today that the sing-along took 4 days to shoot. Something stuck a little moment like that. 4 days.
What? I mean, I'm not surprised. When you think of 4 days, maybe not, that's a lot, but like it must have taken time to get everyone together. And that's what I'm saying. Look, watch it again. You can even watch the sing-along again. It's on YouTube now. And just spot all the things in that. It was phenomenal. And the thing is, again, I don't know. Americans, please let me know because I want to know what you thought about this. Did this scene feel irrelevant to you? Because for us, it was one of the biggest moments. But I think for people that don't know what this is, would have been like, what is this? What is going on? But I agree with you in that sense. Like 4 days.
Mental. The thing is, as well, when you think back of the scene, you know, like how you had, for example, them in the garden, and then you had Conchita upstairs with Alina. You can see how maybe some of them weren't in the same, like maybe, Tuesday we're going to film with this bunch of people, Wednesday we'll film with these two, etc. Like I don't remember. No, I'm trying to think now. The cameos that they did have, did you find quite random?
They were random, but I genuinely think they were probably just going through the list of most famous Eurovision contest.
Who else they could have had? They're all iconic, let's be honest. But like when
Bilal was a bit irrelevant to me personally.
A lot of Swedish, like John Lundvik, I found quite random. I was like, okay,
yeah. Yeah,
he was the first one as well. I was like,
also he was in 2000 last year, right?
Yeah.
It was in last year, 2019. So like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it was a bit, and Bilal was as well. So I don't think I would have put them, but maybe they must have just gone through the list. I mean, I would, if I was making a film, I would have gone through anyone that I could get, I would get. Like, and it's probably why they did that. And
I think they had their names at the top. Like, we definitely weren't Alexander Rybak, or we definitely weren't Loreen, and then they went down the list.
Yeah, probably. I mean, Alexander was in there, so that was I was so happy. You know the bit when they're all outside and they're just all together, and with Will Ferrell, Rachel McAdams. It's such a weird thing to see because it's like this world is such a secretive thing for a lot of us, I think, and it's outed everyone in a way, and that's why I keep saying it. But like. It's made it kind of cool in some sense in that aspect because you've got these huge actors in a room with Eurovision like artists. It's a weird thing. I don't know, but it was amazing. I love that scene.
I did half expect Rachel McAdams to turn around and go, "That's the ugliest effing skirt I've ever seen." I didn't want Regina George to come out.
So quiche. Was it quiche? No, that's from Summer Heights High. That was a different
Jamie Lynn, was that
Yeah,
it?
Jamie from Jermaine.
Fetch.
Jermaine.
So fetch.
So fetch. That's it. No, but yeah, I think her acting was very good. Rachel
Oh,
McAdams.
completely. She needs more lead roles. That was epic.
I know. Every single film I've seen with her in, I've enjoyed because her acting.
Sometimes you feel like you can't see past the character. Like, I do find Will Ferrell pretty much plays Will Ferrell a lot. Like, every film is, because that's his genre. That's who he is. Yeah, it's a bit slapstick, is a bit over the top.
He's typecast.
Yeah, completely.
Mm.
And Rachel McAdams obviously started her major lead role was that her first Mean Girls?
Yeah. Oh, well, I don't. No. I think there was a film called Hot Chick. I don't know if she was in before. That's also a very good film. But yeah, then I think she did Mean Girls after that, I believe. I don't know if I'm wrong. Yeah, no, I think I agree. I think Will Ferrell, he's just so typical Will Ferrell. He's gotten used to that character, maybe. But at the same time, it did work with the storyline. I don't think he was completely put in there randomly. I think his character worked well, and I wouldn't like to see any other American actor, sorry, Americans, but I wouldn't want to see anyone else do that. And now that this is out, I'm like, no, actually, I think this was a good pick. I think he did all right in that character. Yeah, at times it was a little bit like, oh, this is too cheesy. And the things that like we know us Europeans wouldn't say, and it is, you know, American cheesiness, but it's fun and it made me feel good. So that was the whole point of the film.
If the characters weren't likable, then we wouldn't have stuck around and we wouldn't have watched their journey. But the fact that we fell in love with the characters from start to end, like the whole love story between them, is it on, is it off? The fact that Sigrid stayed there to watch the points on she goes, I'm going back to the artist section because I am an artist. She stuck it through, and I kind of feel like they had a role reversal there. I kind of feel like he was like, oh, I'm over this now. And then she was like, no, I'm here and I'm going to get the result. And then I was like, oh, they've swapped roles.
They did completely switch roles. And it was interesting to see her growth as a character in the film from the beginning, because she was just like literally doing anything that Will Ferrell's character was telling her to do. And it's nice to see that. And I think the costumes are very good in that sense, that I believed when I first saw them, I genuinely, there was a part of me that was like, how is that Will Ferrell? How is that Rachel McAdams? Because the hairstyle, I felt like they were Icelandic. It was so well done, the costume, I thought. I don't know if you agree or disagree, but like it was.
It's same with the accent as well. Like I didn't pick anything out, but I'm not Icelandic. So maybe it's not on my radar. But I don't know if there's any Icelandic people watching, if they got the accent right, because it's such a specific one to put on.
Yeah,
like it's not like it's not American, which is quite no offense, but quite a generic one, or a British one. They're quite generic ones to do. When you think of American, you think California. When you think of England, you think of Queen English.
Or there's two. Or it's like with Americans, they either do Cockney or they always do the Queen's English, and I'm just like, okay, I might be.
I can do a great impression of an American putting on a British accent.
Okay, you do
it. They all talk like this because they think that they're talking proper. I'm English and I enjoy a crumpet, mate. But they all talk.
I think that was actually quite good. I think that was actually quite good. But no, my boyfriend, I'll tell you how he does this. He puts on this face. He's like, oh no, I'm going to have a cup of tea. And I'm just like, what are you doing? I don't make that face, do I? And he always looks at me like, oh. Anyway, but like they all do that. It's funny. But
this is when you look in the mirror and you go,
I know.
Oh no.
I had no idea what that was. Apologies, guys.
Don't worry, I think my next impression was worse.
I was going to say I wish I recorded that, but I have.
I hope nobody got that on film.
Oh God, literally. No, but is there anything else that you can think of that you want to discuss about this film? I think for me, no, you go.
There was one thing actually, and it was the music executive bit. Again, I like to see it from another angle. I like that we got to follow the artists rather than looking at it from a fan perspective.
Yeah.
But it was all the things behind the scenes in the music executive room when they said a song in Icelandic will never win the Eurovision
Yeah.
song. I was like, well, I'm sorry, but a lot of fans prefer the music in their own language rather than in English. So I feel like and they had a song in the 90s, well, 1990, that got into 4th place. And Hatari last year broke their non-qualification record of like 4 years when they got into the final. But all the songs that didn't qualify were in English, and Hatari was in Icelandic. And I was like, okay then.
Yeah, I think they were trying to dig out the fact that a lot of countries have thought in the past that singing in English is the only way to go. And you know that because of just watching all the old, like, I don't know, naughty ones. And they just, with broken English. And it's such a funny Eurovision thing, isn't it? A stereotype. It is a stereotype where they're like, I love you, or something like, I don't know, like, don't know what that was. You know what I mean? Like, it's always such a stereotype that they sing in English and it sounds bad. So I think that's where he was trying to go at. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe that's not why it was in, but I think that's why they put that in there, because it is a reason. I'm glad they put in small details that we would get in that sense, because it does make me think that they really have thought about this. And there's been so many flops of movies in 2020. This has been actually something I've enjoyed, and I've watched again and enjoyed fully. And in fact, I preferred it the second time more. Now I've been singing the songs non-stop. Like,
well, you're not alone, because Julian has just commented on here, and he said his bitch from Eurovision Movie is actually 10th place in iTunes worldwide. And the soundtrack in the UK, I think it's at number 3 at the moment.
What about Double Trouble? I thought it was my favorite. I don't know. No one seems to love it. Does anyone else like Double Trouble? Is it just me and Luke?
It's just the ballad haters over
we just don't like ballads at all. Oh my god! You know what we should do? Get David to just watch this film and try make her watch it, because she hates anything like this.
I hate it.
This is stupid.
This would never happen.
Okay, yeah, there's people saying they like Double Trouble. I think I when I first heard it, I was like, yeah, I actually didn't think that there was going to be another song that they were going to sing, because I thought Volcano Man was going to be the song that they sung. So it was exciting in that sense.
It was. I'm glad that Volcano Man was just used for promotion and that they had more tricks up their sleeve.
Yeah. No, there was a lot of things I think they could have done more with. But I think
we did mention Salvador.
Oh my god, he was the first one. How did we forget that? He looks so homeless. I think he was meant to be, wasn't he?
This is a bit weird, because it's kind of like 2 different worlds. You've got the bit where you've got the whole cameos at the party, but then as well you've got him as a tramp, or I think if he's homeless.
I got the vibe. I got that vibe.
Did that happen, or is Eurovision not non-existent at the party? Like, I'm not sure. But also, can I just say, at the beginning of the party scene, Alexander says to Sigrid, "Oh, come on, you're gonna love this," as if it happens like every day. Like, it's that time of the day again. We're all gonna sing with Eurovision stars.
Yeah.
Like, can I live there, please? Like, can this be?
I know. And that scene also, a lot of people are criticizing it, is because they think that they robbed it off Pitch Perfect, where they do this kind of, what do you call it, like sing off, and like basically the same thing. I didn't see it so much, but I can now, thinking back at Pitch Perfect, and the way that they started off that scene was very familiar to that. The way that, I think it was Mika is the Greek girl. She was like, "Come on, this song along. You not have a song," like as if it's a thing. We don't do that in the Eurovision community. I just want to clarify. We don't just have song-alongs. That doesn't happen.
I mean, it'd be nice. I mean, if they just broke out the song every 5 minutes, I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, we should next time. That's our next live song along. No, I can't say.
Here's another media thing that that looks cool, that I loved. When they were doing the whole Salvador doing this piano thing and whatever, the way that song was in the montage with them doing all this stupid tourist stuff, like throwing up in the toilet, while at the same time you've got this really heavily sentimental song playing in the background, Love for Both. And I'm like, wow, it just shows you how it works. Like, this song is representing them and their love, but on the outside they're maybe looking like fools and they're throwing up and they're doing the piece next to a, I don't know, a bus stop. Like, oh, look at us as tourists. But it worked so well. It just showed you that their relationship is through the ups and downs of this song.
Yeah. We've got a comment from Biscuits and Gravy Scrapbooking, who's American. As an American who loves Eurovision, please, dear God, don't let us enter this.
Wow.
Oh, you know what though? It's a love, as me and Luke said, it's a love-hate thing. If you don't like it, it's okay. It happens in the UK a lot. Believe me. That's why I was saying I relate to Will Ferrell's character. I grew up thinking and knowing that Eurovision wasn't seen as a cool thing. And I think, I don't know, Luke, you feel the same way in this sense, that it's not a cool thing growing up. And we don't in the UK watch it and think it's cool, but most of Europe, it's taken a way more seriously. I think now people are starting to get a bit more interested because the songs are becoming a little bit more serious than they used to be. You don't see those crazy things as much, but you do see them, and it is part of the contest.
Do you know what's funny? People say they don't want to watch because the songs are dated, the songs are lame. Yet when they do watch it, oh, where's all the wacky stuff?
Yeah.
Like, what do
you can never win
from this? You
can't win. But I don't think if the contest does get serious, I will stop watching it because I don't want it to be all about just winning.
You want a bit of both.
I want a show.
Yeah. But does this relate to the beginning when you had Lars and Sigrid and they said, who wants to hear our Eurovision song? And everyone went, oh no. And then they sung that Ding Dong song.
Oh,
and
that was the most popular, one of the most popular songs apparently. Yeah. Ding.
And I'm like, wow, Double Trouble like trumped all over that. And but then that's my struggle.
Yeah.
I would say to someone, have you heard Soldi? It's amazing. No, what's that? The Eurovision song? Oh no, not Eurovision. I'll put Eminem back on. Like, great.
I know. Welcome to my life. Literally, welcome to my life. I love my Eurovision music. I always listen to it, and I think now this album has been added to that list. Like, I will listen to this and think of Eurovision and get that warm feeling inside, which I do, which is so cheesy, but that is what this contest is. And yeah, and I think that is a good time to wrap it up. Unless it's high, yes. And definitely watch the film if you guys haven't seen it. Luke, rewatch it because honestly, you should.
So much is swept over my head.
Yeah, I think it was absolutely amazing. I mean, there was flaws, but I think it was as amazing as it would have been for what we got. I'm really impressed. So
a lot of money and research went into that. You could tell by the cinematography and the actors that they got. They did throw a lot of money at it.
For sure, and we can exactly see that. So yes, anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm sure we will do another live again. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a thumbs up and do not hesitate to subscribe to Luke's channel and also my one if you haven't already. Woohoo! And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one.
Goodbye.